Mike Time with Jeff Skin Wade from the Ben and Skin Show. Afternoons on 105.3 The Fan and Fox 4 media partners for the Dirk Nowitzki Heroes Celebrity Baseball Game, June 27th in Frisco. We'll discuss that a little bit more here in just a moment. But we would hope to have you and Ben in.
Yeah.
What's the deal with your partner?
Well, a lot of times Ben will say he's under the weather, and that's code for he overplucked his eyebrows and was kind of embarrassed about the way it looked. So we expect to see him back in about a week or so when it grows out a little bit.
We wish Ben Rogers the best as he tries to overcome that adversity. Let's start with Dez Bryant. We're just discussing Dez, who says it's legit. He's considering skipping the season opener unless a long-term deal gets done by the July 15th deadline. Any chance that that actually happens in terms of Dez sitting out a regular season football game?
I think there's no chance he sits out a game. I think that that's a pretty, I know he says it's legit, but I mean, we're 3 weeks removed from him going, man, I've got to be in this one OTA practice. I can't stand it. So I don't know that that's good timing for him on that sort of a bluff. I think, you know, whether or not the Cowboys are sincere that they want to see the wide receiver market correct itself, or maybe they're more worried about Dez's past issues or whatever, I think the Cowboys have every intention of franchising Dez unless he comes back to whatever their perceived number and their you know, parameters of their deal are, because they don't have to. They know Dez loves to play football. He ain't sitting out games. I just can't see that happen.
Yeah, obviously, in a sense, the Cowboys hold all the cards, but, you know, Dez's consolation prize is a one-year deal for whatever it is, $18 million. And I still tend to think that something will get done before that deadline, just because Dez clearly wants it so badly.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's bad for the Cowboys to pay Dez the franchise number for 1 year, which is close to 13. They don't want to pay him that. They don't want a $13 million hit for one guy. They want to be able to give him a big signing bonus and spread that number out over a number of years. It's not good business to franchise a guy. It's bad for your cap. So I think both sides want to get something done, but clearly there's just too much of this that they need to get closer.
A lot of posturing going on now. That mandatory minicamp this week at Valley Ranch, and the running back position, obviously a huge question with Murray gone now. Are you buying what Jerry's selling? He thinks that the running back position can be as good or better this year than it was with the leading rusher in the NFL as part of it last year.
I think that's ridiculous. I think it's sort of disrespectful to DeMarco Murray. I believe in that offensive line as much as anybody. I think DeMarco Murray benefited from that offensive line, which should conceivably even be a little bit better. There's more competition in those things. But there's something to be said about handing that guy the ball that many times and him delivering. You don't just get 1,800 yards because your offensive line is good. And I don't know if there's anybody else on this team that they can trust. Do you trust Joseph Randle? I mean, we've barely seen the guy. He barely got touches last year, and he's obviously has some sort of attitude issue that's manifested itself several times. So I don't see how you can feel confident in it. Is Joseph Randle really that guy? And if they gave him the ball 300 times, he would produce? Maybe. I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I'd want to risk that.
Clearly, the Valley Ranch talking point, which came out through Randle here recently, is the fact that they thought Murray left a lot of yards on the field. And, you know, that offensive line being what it is, there were huge holes there, but Murray didn't make anybody miss.
Right.
Well, I think they take some things for granted, and they forget about the negative yardage that Murray was able to avoid because of the kind of physical runner he was.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the ability to rely on him and know that he's going to be there and do the things he needs to do, pick up the blitz. Tony Romo believes in him. And here's the other thing. I bet if you went back and looked, I bet every running back in the NFL leaves some meat on the bone, leaves some yards on the field. Did DeMarco leave more than he should? Maybe. But my Lord, he delivered 1,800 yards. It was an offensive MVP caliber type season. I don't think that we should be criticizing what DeMarco Murray didn't do when he was here last year.
And I don't know that there has ever been an offensive line in recent memory that will have more pressure on it than the Cowboys' offensive. Usually it's the most anonymous group on a football team, but this O-line will have a lot of attention on it this year. Let's go to the Rangers now. They lose to the Twins today, but take 2 out of 3 in the series, or 2.5 out of first place in the division, a game and a half out of the wild card. More than a third of the way through the season now, so I think it's fair to start looking down the road at the possibility that this Ranger team is a real contender. Do you think when it's all said and done that this team will be?
I do think it's a real contender. I think the thing that they're sort of facing right now, Mike, is if they continue at this path, do they make a move at the trade deadline to bolster their roster? And I would actually hate to see them do that, because they still do have a lot of injuries with pitchers of guys that will be coming back. And even if Martin Perez comes back and gives them something, anything this year. Usually Tommy John guys are better the next year. If Derek ever does come back, if Matt Harrison, who knows, you for the future. I don't want to see them give away any of their young guys to try and make something happen this year. I think you just stay the course with what this team is this year, let it continue to grow, and then look forward to next year when they're going to get even more reinforcements and more young guys coming down the pipe. It's
amazing how quickly this thing changed and how this team became interesting when it looked like it was going to be just a horribly long summer in Arlington.
Yeah, and I guess, I don't know exactly who to give the credit to. Some of it is probably just things coming together at the right time. Obviously, Jeff Bannister has a big hand in this, and guys seem to respond to him. But if you look at like Shin-Soo Choo, his April and his May were just two completely different players. I don't know that you could credit that to anything, I think, more than just a terrible start. And Prince Fielder is what they thought he was when they traded for him. Wow.
A couple of veterans ended up being the hitters, as you said, that they were expected to be when they were signed. Joey Gallo had the monster homer Saturday night, hit another one today. He's batting right at 300. Beltre obviously will eventually return. If this guy keeps playing like this, I don't know how you send him back down. But on the other hand, I'm not exactly sure how you play him either. It's a tough question.
It is a tough question. I don't know where you would play him. Maybe you could move him to the outfield. The other thing is some people are like, well, why don't you move him over to first base? Do you really want to move Mitch to the outfield and disrupt what he's been able to do, or just turn him into a situational guy? That's had a big part of their turnaround this year, is Mitch Moreland being the guy they had always hoped he was going to be. I really think that with Gallo, the best thing to do is if they don't have a spot for him, let him. He never saw AAA pitching. And we saw, I think, with Rugi Odor, you can have like a nice extended run as a young guy, and then everything catches back up. And so there's a chance that Joey Gallo will have, he's a different player, obviously, different type of player too, but he may have some Odor moments to where it comes back and then the big leagues overwhelm him a little bit. I don't think it would be terrible for Beltre to come back and Gallo to still go down and continue to get seasoning. The thing that they know is they do have a bona fide power-hitting superstar for the future.
Let's close by talking about the Dirk Nowitzki Heroes Charity Baseball Game. June 27th, Saturday night at Dr. Pepper Ballpark in Frisco. Charles Barkley, a lot of Mavericks, a lot of Cowboys, huge names from sports will be there. You've played in this before. What kind of night is it?
It's unbelievable, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously, playing in it is crazy. The couple years when Barkley was the manager of my team, he was back in the locker room, back in the clubhouse, telling stories of how he tried to illegally pay Dirk to come to Auburn. It was really, it's a fun event. They try and play baseball. There's some funny things happen, but there's legit guys like Michael Young and Kevin Minch and guys like that. But the best thing about it, if you're thinking about going, this is not a lie, this is not an exaggeration, Dirk stayed until every single autograph was signed last year. And Mike, I was leaving the clubhouse, walking across the outfield. All the lights are off in the entire stadium, and Dirk is standing there still signing autographs until 10 o'clock at night. No bodyguards, no nothing. He makes it special. It is an incredible night.
Great night. Again, June 27th in Frisco for the big Dirk celebrity baseball game. Ben and Skin will be there.
Yeah.
Fox 4 will be there.
Yeah.
Should be a great night. And Skin, always nice having you in studio.
Enjoyed it, Mike.
105.3 The Fan.
Thanks
very
man.
much.